a booger.
You, are you some kind of a wizard? I, how do you do it?
Did I hit it? Are we
Yes.
live? Yes!
Aridan, I need you to.
The moment I hit the button.
Oh yeah, we're going live now. I see it on my laptop. We're going live right now. It happened.
I win. Ducks always win.
Doing it live.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a hairy lizard. Wizard.
Whoa.
All right. That's inappropriate, Sammy. Welcome to the Saturday Box Social number 4 community chat. I am Urs. Today we've got our pilots from today. First victorious Sammy BT of the Mandarins.
Woo.
We've also got Fiasco Total and Mattilald Anguisad from Fiasco and Friends, aka the Goldwater Thralls with some other guys. We've got Aridan from Sacrilege, who faced the Mandarins in the finals. Fourth Oracle from the Mad Hatters, Balana from Cake, and of course Imagine and Letonator, our illustrious casters. How are you guys all doing today?
Not bad.
Awesome.
I am exhausted.
Oh, fine.
Alright, I suppose I'll hand it off to you two to sort of direct where this goes.
Imagine you first.
Yeah, sure.
You had the
So-
first game there.
Yeah. So let's see. We started out with Fiasco and Friends versus the Mandarins. So let's get just a quick. How did Fiasco and Friends come to be?
In
It's
fact,
basically, Screen Scroll took a short break this week, and he didn't want to organize. So Fiasco took it on himself to make a team from friends he has on in the game.
So have you guys flown together much before, or was this really just like your first time just messing around?
it was the first time for us to play competitive games. We are used to play together on pub matches, but it was the very first time on competitive.
And I gotta believe that you guys weren't too thrilled to have to face against the Mandarin team immediately.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be tough.
Oh.
And it
So
was.
so you had that
Definitely.
first game on Perton, I believe, right?
Yeah, Puritan.
Yes.
We ran 2 Metamedians because we wanted to run 2 Metamedians, but it wasn't too well.
Yeah, you
because
guys, you guys
they-
ended up like
they-
facing in different directions, and
what?
you guys ended up facing in different directions on several
Yeah,
engagements
we-
there.
Yeah.
we had trouble to find a good angle to approach them. It's like they always knew where we are, and it was very difficult to get to them. Yes.
So Sammy, you guys both you and Frogger brought the exact same ship. You don't see that too often, and by exact same ship I mean exact same ship and guns. So
Right.
tell me the thought process behind that.
I mean, Frogger will always be bringing the Gat mortar on the right side. He's the killer of the two. Sometimes on some ships, you'll see me switch over to the Carronade Carousel, but that's kind of dependent on what the enemy build is. The Carronade isn't as effective against Pyramidians because it has that little metal over the top, and it's just good to just kill Pyramidians outright. So we went ahead and just doubled up our builds there. Both brought the Gats, both brought the Morts, and but we actually I feel like we did a lot of that engagement though on our left sides. We were able to get a lot of we were able to get a lot of lucky spots in there and just get good arcs on y'all. But
Yeah, and as I was saying, there was I believe there's one time when Fiasco and you two were flying down low, and the ducks were like right above you, and you just kept on flying down under them, even though they're. I don't know. Did you guys see them at that point, or were you just? Did you see them too late, or?
It was very hard to us to see them. We tried to flank, but as soon as we tried to flank, they were just on us. It was impossible.
Usually, whenever we tried flanking or any fancy maneuvers, one of the ships would inevitably fly into the docks, and then we were forced into unfavorable situation.
Yeah, there did seem to be a few of those 2-on-1 situations. You guys almost had a pretty good engagement at the end there. You held out for longer than the previous engagements and came in with the ship. Although by that time it was, I believe, 4-0, so it's gonna be a little bit tough. Now, the second game was on
Canyon, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Was that where you guys brought the galleon?
I brought the galleon because I think the main weakness of the junker is the balloon. The balloon is
Yep.
very huge and easy to shoot. So I just took the galleon with double lumberjack and thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be easy to destroy the balloon. But it was not, because they have a really good flying to get in cover in time. Every time I shoot down their balloon, they reach a cover just after.
As soon as we see those lumberjacks come out on the galleon, I mean, everything becomes, oh my god, shoot the galleon before it messes up. Because you are correct. Junkers are very weak by the balloon. And so,
Yeah.
now we have to be extremely conscious about, making sure we had quick horizontal cover. Make sure that we could, pop out, try to take out the weapons, just do it back and forth. And we were able to pull it off this time.
We
Nice.
only had the one experienced lumberjack gunner on our ship. The other two engineers most of the time spent just tanking on the galleon. It was
Yeah.
a lot far incoming on us.
Now, I noticed that Mandarins, you guys got into like the blue area where the blue chips set up
Oh.
incredibly quickly. Like, is that
Yeah.
some conscientious effort that you guys made of that, or
Um,
were you just let's just
It
go?
just kind of like we noticed that the Pyramidian had kind of fallen to one side, and so we were just trying to run down the Pyramidian while we thought he was kind of separate. We thought he was we were able to get him, but he was able to kind of lose us in the cloud, so he just kind of got stuck in that southern area. And we were able to do a fairly good job of engaging over there, but I mean we try to make sure we stay mobile.
Fair enough. All right. So, any final words from either of you about that set of matches? Fiasco, Uno, Sammy, any?
Fiasco is like impossible to kill.
Oh no.
I mean, there was one time we were able to, at the very beginning, we scooped a very quick kill on the galleon, if you might recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Pyramidian, I guess he'd already started charging, and so he's like, all right, let's just, look, the Pyramidians are in the canyon, we're just going to, shoot him down. We got Artemises on his engines. He can't escape. We chased him around
yeah,
the
he went all
entire
the way
dang
down.
canyon. He
Yes.
made it out. He was able to get back to his galleon. I don't know if we ever got even any permahull during that engagement.
No, you didn't.
And there were just several times where we just said, all right, let's get the quick kill on the Pyramidian, and it was never as quick as we were hoping. No, that there was amazing just survivability on that Pyramidian. We were not expecting that.
Yeah, yeah. The main
Well-
trouble I have against you is every time I try to engage you, you took cover behind a pillar or whatever, and the Pyramidion was always 1 against 2, and I could do nothing to help him because I was too slow with Galleon to reach into the battle. So
We
I
were
was just
As I said, we forget when we see lumberjacks, so we're either attacking only the galleon or making sure the lumberjacks can't see us.
yeah.
Well, that's a sensible tactics.
Very much so. Well, it was
Works.
even though it was I think both were 5-0 victories. There was still quite a lot of action going on. So thanks, Fiasco, for putting together a team and gracing us with your presence today.
That's very much.
I think we're gonna move on to Dan. I believe this was your match, Sacrilege Cake.
Yeah, we had Cake versus Sacrilege, Balana, and who's the person from Sac?
That's
No.
Aridan.
Aridan, right. You were one of the
Yeah.
you were one of the pilots, correct, for Sac?
Yeah, I was on the pilots for both
Yeah.
matches.
You were piloting in that first game on Northern Fjords alongside YOLO Swag Jesus.
Yeah.
YOLO Swag Jesus is an extremely experienced pilot. I personally don't know your level of experience. I believe this was the first time seeing you piloting for myself. What is it like piloting with someone who flies his Pyramidian so actively and so aggressively?
Are you talking about YOLO? Actually,
Yes.
I did play against Cake before. I think that was also I won that as well. I actually fly Pyramidion the most. That's my favorite ship, and my usual my usual loadout is actually mortar and Gatling gun. So I'm used to the whole getting in close and fighting up close range sort of build. And
So you're used to how he likes to just go in there at times, and we actually saw a really good flank while you distracted the Cake team.
yeah, actually, he did that the first 2 times, and it didn't turn out as well as we planned it. So I told him, okay, maybe you should hang back a bit more this time. So he's like, okay. So I'm hiding out in the clouds waiting for him to come in, and he comes in, and I'm totally expecting to hang back, right? But he goes around the mountain range there, and he comes in around from the side. He's like, Arden, this is a really stupid idea, but I hope you just go with it. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Great maneuver on your part, especially considering the galleon did not see you until the enemy Pyramidion had already gone down after the no, sorry, not seeing you, but YOLO Jesus rather, after that at the Pyramidion died. Now, before that though, when you guys were kind of in towards the enemy's Cake spawn, towards what was going on there, you guys had a little bit of an issue trying to kill a Pyramidion with those Artemis. You brought a 3 Artemis Gat Mortar Junker, correct?
Yeah, that's true. That was my.
Now,
that
what
my
was going
ship.
on there as you guys were trying to kill that Cake Pyramidion, just as it exposed its engine column to you guys? What was going on there?
Well, the problem was that I had some lag, and I had a lot of trouble directing my ship. So if you noticed throughout the game, I was just sort of wobbling around there, and I had to keep on telling my crew, "Okay, guys, tell me where to go. Tell me where to go." So that was the lag thing was an issue. I had these nasty lag spikes for like 10
Elusive
seconds.
and I were both kind of scratching our heads there at that point in time, wondering, wait, the Pyramidion just gave away their engine column to the Junker, and it's not dead?
Yeah.
What? We were both really confused. Going over to Balana here. Balana, you guys flew a Hades flak Pyramidion there. How did that function for you guys? Did you enjoy flying that new kind of setup?
Well, tactics were to take the hull with the Hades and then end with the flak. And as soon as we had that explained to our gunner who was on the flak, or the engineer who was on the flak, we got the timing right and it worked once. So that was nice.
In both games, you guys, that was the best kills. The 2 really highlight kills for the Cake team were both with that Hades flak combination. Why though in the first game the Banshee?
I'm sorry, what?
There was a Banshee on the Pyramidion as well, supporting the Hades flag.
Yes, it was in both games. What changed in our second game was that our flare changed to a carronade on the back. We were very lucky about that carronade. And the one time we could actually have a shot on a carronade, it was downed. That got me a bit ragey, I guess. I flipped my shit and just started hysterically laughing. It was quite upsetting. What we actually intended to do was having a kill ship, which was the Pyramidion with the Hades flag, and a disabler ship, which was the Galleon with the Lumberjack flag. And it would have worked if it wasn't for that meddling Sacrileges.
Now, you were an engineer, if I remember correctly. Were you on the Pyramidion or were you on the Galleon?
The Pyramidion.
Now, I got to ask you a very similar question then. When you guys, about halfway through the Northern Fjords game, turned around, just gave away your engine column to the Junker, what was going on the ship at that point? Was that a conscious choice on your part to just focus right on YOLO Swag Jesus? And was it difficult to keep the ship up?
It was very difficult because Tiberius had massive lag spikes. He had a ping of 300 going up. We don't know why. I think he was downloading something because I cannot imagine being in Europe, being on a server from America, having a 300 plus ping. We had problems with our pilot because he is typing. He is not communicating verbally. He is actually typing. And I think he was trying to communicate that there is a ship behind us in the worst possible moment.
Mhm. Second
You don't have
game
a
there.
talking cap?
That
Oh, sorry.
I sorry, I didn't hear you.
Ignore
Second
me.
game there was Battle on the Dunes. Again, another long range map. Collect my thoughts here for just a moment. There were some issues for you guys, Sacrilege, with the galleon positioning early on there, where your junker was quite farther ahead. It looked like you guys were trying to draw out Cake using the junker, but it also started to bite you there too, where the galleon was in a very poor position for supporting your actions. What was going on there with the positioning of your junker and your teammate's galleon?
I
We
was
had.
sort of. Are you talking to Bielena or me?
I'm sorry.
Either
Or
or.
are you talking? Okay. I guess I'll go first. Well, the whole strategy with me luring out the galleon was that I noticed. Sorry, I have stick keys on for some reason. All right. Well, I noticed that the galleon was actually missing some shots, so I decided to just go on with it and get close in to try to lure the Pyramidion in, so that my galleon could then turn around for close range and kill the Pyramidion. That didn't work as well as I was hoping it to, but then again, it didn't kill us either. So it was kind of a. Sorry, my stick keys keeps on turning on. Anyway, yeah, that's the deal behind that, and also the guy who was doing our galleon, I was sort of directing him and everything too, because he doesn't normally do long range galleons.
Okay. Alrighty.
So I told him just to stick back if he wasn't altogether used to it. So that's what we did.
Okay. Balana, what happened to you guys during that game? It did go 5-1 in favor of Sacrilege. You guys had a lot more success in the focused fire and the kills in the first game. What happened during that one where things weren't quite on target, especially for the Hades shots and for the lumberjack shots?
I think what the pilots were trying to work out was that they have to keep the disabler. They have to make the disabler the main target, so it can't disable anymore. We had a bit of bad luck with the Hades because, as I said, Tiberius was on the Hades. We had 3 engineers, so he had only 1 gun round, which he brought burst. We did underestimate how close we would get, and we paid for it. And it hurt. Thanks, Aridan. I thought we were friends.
Oh.
Thank you, both of you guys. Sacrilege wins at 2-0, the first game going 5-3, and the second game
That
going
cake got
5.
served.
Unfortunately. Second game going 5-1. That was the Cake Sacrilege match, been the only game we had.
Yep. And then we moved on to it was Mandarin versus Mad Hatters.
Yes, sir.
I believe we have one of each of you here, right?
Yes.
So Spire Squid on Duel at Dawn, I believe it was.
Yep.
I guess I'm going to put this the simplest way. Why?
Okay, so we theory crafted it a little bit. The idea behind it was the biggest weakness of the junker is the balloon, obviously. So we had the lumberjack to try and take that out, and the idea is the Spire would hide a little bit, Squid would come in and run defense. What we didn't count on was the ridiculously stupid accuracy that was coming down. I'm most comfortable on a squid and a goldfish, the most maneuverable ships, and but I'm just kind of going into what went wrong right now.
Go for it.
I feel like the theory was sound. I feel like that setup does work, but a lot of things were working against us. First of all, this is the first time I've ever flown competitively. I'm usually an engineer aboard Maddie's ship, but with the loss of Zuka,
welcome.
yeah, thank you. with the loss of Zuka, we're trying things out. Like this was really an experimental week for us. We weren't even going to compete originally, but we decided to throw us in there. And so first, like, was our lack of training and practice together, but it also was, usually, in any other match, I'm able to get in there, completely, rip someone's balloon apart, get out easy. But I mean, the Mandarin just won't allow that, and that was partially because of the way they were using the map. They hid in the ribs, and the moment that I went in, they just dropped down and hid behind the ribs, so Maddie couldn't hit them at all, and then focused me down pretty darn hard. So I think that was really a combination of inexperience on my part in competitive matches, inexperience working with that particular ship build. We're theory crafting and we're working it out a little bit better, and just playing it wrong.
So is that a set of ships? Sorry, was someone saying?
It's a set of ships you're going to see again. That much is certain.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
it can
Alright.
work.
Well, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I mean, we kind of saw that build come out, and one of the our left sides actually evolved from us having to deal with a lumber spire. One of the duck teams, the waddling, they still flied around a few times, but they were, really bringing that out hard. And we kind of realized that our, 4 Artemises and 2 Magmas can just disintegrate those things so quickly. And then whenever I see a squid, this was an opportunity for me to switch back to my Carronade side. Because, when you're fighting a squid, you can't really, I guess, time kill them that well. The ducks do raspberries. Everyone has, the different words. But, I mean, we were able to just lock down the squid every time it came in. So, I mean, I understand the idea, try to make sure you can take out the balloons. But it's hard for a spire to keep in arc. It's kind of weird moving. And squids are just really vulnerable. I mean, I understand the idea, but I wouldn't beat yourself too terribly up. I wouldn't beat yourself too much about inexperience or, poor skills flying. Some of the issue might be the theory crafting. But I mean, I always love hearing people talk about thinking about it, so that's great.
That's something we realized later. That the disabler squid isn't going to be powerful enough to the disable just isn't strong enough. And so what we're doing is we're theory crafting ways, different builds with the spire, because like we're definitely going to try it again, I think. But
the thing is, with a spire,
maybe not for that map. Maybe not for that map specifically.
For a spire to work, you have to make it so the enemy can't afford to not shoot the other ship. If a team can shoot your spire's dead. And the thing is, you can ignore a squid for a bit.
Well, that's
and
one
so
of the
it's not
things
so
we
much
were
an issue with
thinking
the
about.
spire. One of the things is you have to make it so that we can't even think about shooting at the spire. It would be inconceivable.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were considering, and we're considering different squid builds for it. We're considering different spire builds for it.
No, keep on working on it. It was great to see that come out.
Yeah, I mean,
the,
it was.
the tactics were wrong too. The big problem was like Maddie got spotted so quickly, and then it was just jumping around and around and around. And we definitely played the spawns poorly as well. But I think like with a slightly different build and a slightly different set of tactics, we can make it work. But we just didn't play it right. I'm inexperienced. I should have known that like you guys were gonna hide behind the ribs when I went in to try and disable. Plus, I got stuck behind that rib like twice.
Yeah, I was about to say you had a little bit of a trouble there trying to come around that edge. The wind was definitely blowing you back right into those ribs.
Used to be able to. I feel like I used to be able to.
You can, but it's on the edge of the world. So basically, you have to like rubber band out and then come back in.
Yeah,
it's really hard, really tricky. And remember, we were like shooting your engines of balloons, so you didn't have as much maneuverability as you normally do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that you brought the Carronade Banshee side specifically to deal with the squid possibility coming in? Sammy?
Yeah, and also, I mean, I love using the Carronade side. Frogger generally has to talk me out of it most matches. It's an ongoing debate we have, but it was definitely something where I was like, they have a squid, Frogger. I'm using my Carronade. It's like, fine.
Fair enough. So, I mean, it was definitely nice to see some experimentation regardless. Unfortunately, as we saw, it really didn't work out too well. There was a lot of disintegrating the squid and then murdering the spire immediately.
Well, I'm not too torn up about it, because honestly, like we were
don't be.
testing so many different things, and usually, you test a bunch of different things and you can't figure out what was working wrong. I learned a lot from that match, not just in my own personal flying, but what needs to change in the builds, what needs to change in the play styles, and like that was a great learning experience. So, I mean, I gained a ton. So, thank you.
Absolutely. And then second map, I guess you guys were in Pertino again, I believe.
Yep.
And so you went with the Carronade or Blenderfish this time around.
Yes.
Did you knowing or seeing how many
What was
Artemis?
the Blenderfish again?
Huh?
Oh, was it the Blenderfish?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Blenderfish.
we ran
with,
Squid first
and-
match, Blenderfish second.
Yeah.
Well, no,
With
was
double-
your teammate?
He was a
Pyramidion?
Metamidian.
Okay.
And the Blenderfish. Now, with the amount of Artemis that you were facing, did you feel confident that you'd be able to close in onto the Mandarin ship still?
The theory
Blender?
behind, yeah, I thought I was going to be able to, because it's a little bit difficult to hit that front gun sometimes, especially with the way I was trying to move. I was trying to use momentum going sideways to try and sort of slide into it and make it more difficult to hit. Unfortunately, like they got some good shots off. I mean, props to the gunners.
Right.
We thought that we'd be able to just go in and the Metamidian would follow it up. But they also targeted our engines pretty well, and it made it pretty hard. Plus, I mean, the engineers weren't as experienced enough, so they weren't. I think that sometimes the things that needed to come up and the things that were being camped weren't, and that really is just no, they're not as experienced, and that's okay.
I believe
But
you
it
guys
definitely But the other half of the problem was we weren't timing our movements correctly. I was going one of us was coming in too late every time. And that's what killed us. I feel like, and that's just a product of not flying together a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that the Mandarins definitely were able to stick closer together. Now, were you guys on the Ducks team there afraid of the Carronade at all, or were you confident that you'd be able to knock it out before it got to you?
We were. I mean, we were afraid of it, so that's why we had to be confident that we had to shoot it out.
Fair enough.
That was basically always the target. Is the goldfish in view? Shoot out everything. I want that with no component. I mean, because that would have been problematic if it got to us unmolested. The Carronades, and we saw the double flamers. We did not want to deal with that, and so we tried to make sure, focusing a lot of fire on it. Also, we were trying to make sure we kept on moving. We didn't want to give them, a chance to see where we were and just, plan a good attack. We wanted to always be on the move, and so we tried to keep on finding new positions, post up at different spots.
Now, there was one specific engagement in there which I really feel like could have turned the tide of battle really quickly. I believe you guys were up to either 2-0, 3-0 at that time, Mandarin, and you finally you took out the goldfish, and the Pyramidion.
The pyramid was right on top of me and finished the kill on me.
Took out.
The quack bar went down.
Yeah, the only death you had this entire tournament. And then you almost had the other junker go down as well. I mean, it was at a sliver of health.
Right.
Oh, was that low?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it
Damn.
was just and
Frogger
then it
thought he
actually
was
managed
gonna
to
die.
turn around and kill the Pyramidion right as the goldfish was spawning, almost completely underneath it. What was I guess your atmosphere going on your ships during that time?
Well, I mean,
Do you remember that?
I had died, and
Mhm.
I mean, I was fairly sure Frogger could, try to pick up the kill in the Pyramidion. I didn't think I thought he was just, going to get some permahull off and, run away. But he was actually, I think it was a one clip. I mean, his Gat mortar did a fantastic job, but he was definitely near death with the goldfish coming in. But fortunately, we were just able to meet up in the corner quick enough. I was able to get my left side into support, and we were able to finish off the kill before he went down. But
Yeah, that was my
was
my mistake.
It was extremely close to being a 5-2 instead of a 5-1.
And my
I
I
following
don't know
was
if
a
that
mistake.
makes it sound better, but
At that point, it would have been I
Frogger
think a
was near
3-2
death.
as well.
I think
So
he'd even lost his armor. Maybe.
I'm not quite sure. I know he had almost 0 health left though. So
Brave odds.
were you guys just slow on getting onto the goldfish, or Because the goldfish had
No,
spawned underneath the
we had
junker. I
killed
mean,
the goldfish.
no.
The
I mean,
goldfish
once the goldfish respawned, and the
Oh,
junker
I mean,
had
I was
killed
just
the
getting.
pyramid.
I was having to just get to the fight.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, on the goldfish, because I assume you guys saw the battle taking place right under you when your Paramedian died. Do you remember that at all? Goldfish?
Yes, sorry. I thought I was still talking to Sammy.
No.
Yeah, I thought that we'd be able to get in there fast enough to come in on the disable. But I brought shoot vent, not hydrogen.
Fair
And
enough.
so, and I guess that's just kind of how the spawns work. They were up so high, and no, Chance wasn't with us. So we spawned in, and then I made the grievous error of following, which was a massive mistake. That was more just like, it's 4-1, we're screwed, let's get him. Yeah. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go down in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, the Quackbar I think got back in there pretty quickly.
He spawned right in my face. I sort of misjudged the spawns. I thought that their spawns were a little bit farther away, but it was like right there.
I mean, I told Froggo the corner. I spawned in the far corner. I moved to the closer corner. I had Froggo run away to that corner as well. So it was partially Frogger leading you to me, and partially me burning kerosene, right out the bat.
Yeah.
All right,
But yeah.
so that was that was
I learned a lot.
a good set of matches, entertaining if nothing else.
Always good to see new.
And definitely interesting to see the squid spire combination. So
Also great
It's
to see you
something-
piloting for.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've flown against and together before, against each other and
Well,
together.
competitively.
Yeah, it's good to play competitively. I hope that right now we're still trying out captains, but I really want to fly. I really want to, and I feel like my tactical capability is there, but my actual mechanical skill is still catching up.
The Ducks will
and that's
start
why I
making
need to
the
grind.
dossier on you. Don't you worry.
Oh, good. No, you're going to be seeing combinations like that again.
Alrighty.
Strange combinations that you don't usually
we'll
see.
look forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to run.
excellent. All right, so that takes us to our final match: Sacrilege and Mandarins. Now, Aridan is the Sacrilege representative. Were you guys, how'd you come in to approach the game against the Mandarins? What'd you think about it when you found out who you were facing up against? Aridan?
Smoke.
The one in Canyon Ambush, or both of them?
Well, just in general, when you saw that you had to face against the Mandarins, what was your game
The one
plan,
in Canyon
essentially?
Ambush?
Yeah, let's start it with
Was that one first? Yeah, that was first, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was, I
Canyon
believe you
and-
were
Okay,
on
well-
triple. You were on the triple.
Triple Art Junker
Art-
and
yeah.
kind of Metamidian.
Yeah, I think it'd get mortar front and then double Artemis on the side.
Right.
So,
Right,
what
Aaron?
was your approach in the actual match? How'd you guys want to play it? Like, what was your strategy coming into the Canyon Ambush map? Aridan?
Sorry,
Can you hear
guys, my internet isn't that good
Oh, okay.
right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear,
I can hear you. But now we can't hear. If you're talking now, we can't hear you.
All right. Well, Sammy,
Why don't
you
you type and somebody reads it for you?
looks like she might be crashing out. Well, hopefully we'll get Aridan back in. Sammy, match against Sacrilege, Canyon Ambush. You guys got into basically a drawn-out Artemis fight again. Were you expecting that?
No, honestly, I mean, we did see that the Pyramidian had the double art, but we just assumed that was kind of not so much for show, but just in a worst case scenario, we weren't expecting for it to be so art heavy. We were kind of expecting a bit more charging. We did see that the Junker was triple art, but we kind of assumed that the triple Artemis Junker would support with the Pyramidian coming in a lot more. But we were pleasantly surprised by seeing a bit more of the mid-range game going on.
Alright, guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
So
Phew, I don't have to give a
Canyon
one-sided
Ambush.
story.
let's get the Sacrilege side. How did you think What was your strategy in that canyon ambush game?
All right. Well, we saw that the ducks had long range ships, so we thought we'd just fight fire with fire and take some long range. But also, just in case they went short range, we took some brawling supplies, which would be the Pyramidion, which I believe Richard piloted. So the
No,
Pyramidion
I think
had a long
it was
range
Communist
side.
Pony who was flying the other ship.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we had a long range side and a short range front. So our strategy was to just hang out like where the canyon is, where the ambush happens, usually. But the ducks were super sneaky about that, and they kept on dodging us. And,
Sneaky. Oh,
yeah, you guys
You
are
ruined me.
sneaky.
sneaky ducks.
So yeah.
I can't-
It did go as well planned, and we tried to do a strategy where instead of just hanging out there and getting sniped to death, we'd use our short range stuff. So we tried to go around the rocks more. For example, that one time when I went behind the rocks and you guys killed me off, unfortunately. So yeah, that didn't work well either, which leads to what we did in the next match. And I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so canyon ambush there. I mean, you guys held up for a fairly long amount of time. You had a lot of. You actually had the Pyramidion blocking a lot of shots that was coming out to your junker. Was that done?
We
on
were having to
purpose?
constantly like change targets. We weren't able to focus down one of y'all very easily. I mean, y'all were doing an excellent job of getting a ship out of combat once it was near death, and so it was definitely it was quite the back and forth. We were both under free position. Fargione was too far away, and I'm like, no, I'm in arc, gotta kill him. So I mean, it was definitely high stress on our side. Yeah, y'all were doing an excellent job in those rocks.
Was the Pyramidion, was he taking shots for you on purpose, or was that kind of just happenstance there? Because at one point I know that your junker was at extremely low health, and there were just shots raining on in, and the Pyramidion rose right in front of you. So was it a strategic move, or that it just kind of happened that way?
Yeah,
If you remember
actually,
that at all.
The thing was that my junker was dying and I had extremely low permahull. So I thought they were focusing on me, right? So I didn't really. I thought communist was in good shape and everything. So I'm like, okay, I'll just let him go
Well,
ahead of me and
communism's
take all
strong.
the shots.
Communism.
What was that?
Cool.
I was making a communism joke.
Don't worry about it. All right, so unfortunately, it did not end the way that Sacrilege wanted that match to go. So for the next match, that was back to
Dualaton.
Dualaton, right? So you went back to your what apparently is
Double
your favorite
Pyras.
ship there, the double Pyrrha, where you just saying screw it, let's just get back to what we like to do and go for that get mortar style.
Yeah, that was the plan. And also, our more experienced pilots were unavailable. So what we did was we just took our best Pyramidion pilots and put them in captain's spot. And then we figured, okay, we'll just charge them because obviously we couldn't do the sniping very well. At first we were gonna actually do a sniping Pyramidion, but then we decided if we got in the same range for sniping as they did, then we're basically out. So we just decided to get those spawn spots that were as close to the junkers as possible and just jump on them. But,
Right.
yeah, that was our logic behind it.
Yeah. Were you guys, as the Mandarins, just surprised that they kept on spawning basically in the exact same position over and over
A
again?
little bit. Those last two spawns were not. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
those were not good spawns.
It was sort
mean-
of a spur of the moment thing.
Mhm.
Because
I mean,
we didn't.
It was kind of messing up because like it was kind of right in that corner. It was hard. I wasn't able to get my right side on, which is my close range side. So I was having to do like close range on my double Artemis Magma, which means I'm not doing terribly much. But I mean, just it's. I mean, you were spawning just in our arcs, and I mean,
Yeah,
there's
in
that
our accent, I mean, it's gonna take like a good
But we-
what, like 10-15 seconds to get to your stations and load.
And I remember like we were focusing down one guy that spawned, and like just as he was getting away, the other one spawned even closer to us. And we were just like, all right, switch targets.
Yeah, well, we figured if we spawn like far away from you guys, you just come out into the open and snipe us down. So we figured, okay, we'll just grab this closest spawn to you. But yeah.
Now you did get.
You gotta remember,
one of the
Frogger and I,
ships
we
down
started as
really-
brawlers. I mean, Frogger and I come from short range. I mean, sniping is a newly acquired skill for us.
quite effective though.
Yeah,
I don't
very
even think
effective.
I really don't. I still don't even think of us as sniping. It's weird for me saying.
I had to
Well-
admit we were quite annoyed at your sniping abilities.
Because we're not truly long range.
I
mean,
mean, Hades and Artemis isn't super long range. It's not like lumberjacking across.
so
great
like in our candy game, we were fighting you from just the other side of the arch. We weren't doing anything terribly big. We just like to be aggressive and have big lanes of fire.
Yeah,
No, you did-
Good work.
No hiding.
You did get
From-
one of the junkers extremely low. Was that yours or?
Oh, yeah,
or
I did
Frogger's?
almost die.
Yeah, I mean it was like a sliver of health left before
Right.
you killed their ship. And I think your balloon was out as well, so it was all sorts of.
Like because the first charge was initially on us, and
Yep.
we were able to shoot down. I can't remember which pyramid it was, but we were able to shoot down the first pyramidian
I think it was.
as it was
Arden's,
coming
'cause
down. But
they-
the second one was already on top of me. I didn't have good enough time to change sides, and so no, that second pyramid nearly got me, but I was able to get back to the fight. I mean, I'm fairly sure like a Gatling kill could have finished us off. I'm actually, if I recall correctly, I think the final kill was actually a Gatling kill on our side.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, that moment when your ship was down, we were just like yelling at each other, like, "Oh, it's only one mortar shot! Only one mortar shot!"
It was
we were
less
so
than a mortar shot.
disappointed. Oh my
Oh
goodness,
yeah, no, it would have been
Oh,
any bullet, a sneeze, a spit from your ship would have.
Ah,
Would've
sorry
I was
about
already
that.
thinking about where I was going to be spawning. That's
But
serious.
yeah.
We were
well,
surprised.
You guys
I think we
managed
were
to pull it
saved
out.
by an Artemis shot from the dancing feather. I'd have to rewatch the tape. Felt like the arm was down for a while, but some gun was taken out or something.
Mhm. And also that tar was super effective, and just I had to go out of my way to get out of it.
Yeah, that's the last
So-
kind of thing I want to
my
bring up.
sixth-
You guys are like tar maniacs. Like every map, there's just tar everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's something like Duel or Periton, where there's just wind blowing it away. Is that? Do you guys just hit it whenever you feel threatened, or what?
A little bit.
Panic
I
farts.
mean, like someone will say, "There's a ship behind you! Quick, tar!" I mean, or just like basically, ship spotted, tar. They're on the other side of the map. Why'd you tar? I don't know. I was scared. I mean, we
Gotcha.
throw it out. We try to make sure, and we do try to use it as an accurate back quacha, things like that. No, it's something that it's great for junkers. It kind of
Hey, Muse, are you listening? This is the new name for tar, butt watcha.
it goes by other names in other circles. You might be able to imagine. But no, it's great for junkers. We can turn quickly, so we can truly place it on enemies. That's what's fun about it, and it breaks spots. It's a perfect. I can't imagine flying my junker without a tar barrel.
Fair enough. All right, so congratulations once again to the Mandarins for pulling in yet another trophy into their overflowing cupboards of previous trophies. And of course, thank you to all of our participants for making another Saturday box social possible. Urs, you have any final words you want to toss out?
Actually, unmute myself. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to you guys for participating today. We got to see some pretty good matches. Tomorrow we will be having the Sunday Rumble. And as always, you can check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/communityesports, to see all the pre-recorded matches from these events. Hopefully, I have the lofty ambition of trying to get the videos from today up tonight. So those may be good to go tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Excellent. Thanks
quack.
everyone for participating, and well, see you later, Twitch guys.
Yay.